Ladies, let me tell you something very clearly. Being a woman without a husband is not a limitation. It is not a tragedy. It is not a label that defines your worth. In fact, it is one of the most powerful statements you can make in today's world, because when a woman stands on her own unapologetically, she radiates a kind of confidence that no relationship can give her. You see, society has always tried to tell women, you are incomplete without a husband. But let me tell you, nothing could be further from the truth. A woman without a husband is not missing something. She is making space. Space for herself, for her dreams, for her freedom. She is the author of her own story. She knows her worth. And when I say she knows her worth, I mean she understands deep down in her bones that her value is not tied to a relationship, a ring, a wedding, or anyone else's approval. Society will often try to whisper in her ear that she needs someone to validate her existence, that her accomplishments are incomplete without a man standing beside her, that her life has a missing piece that only a husband can provide. But she refuses to buy into that illusion. She walks with a sense of self-respect that cannot be shaken because she has spent years learning that her worth is intrinsic, not conditional. She has looked in the mirror, not for vanity, but for recognition. Recognition of the person she is, the battles she has fought, the dreams she has dared to dream, and the goals she has achieved, no matter how small or large. Each scar, each triumph, each moment of quiet resilience whispers to her, you are enough. She has felt the sting of rejection, the pang of betrayal, the weight of being underestimated, and she has turned each experience into a lesson rather than a limitation. She knows that no one else's opinion can define her, because she has defined herself long before the world tried to define her. She knows her worth because she refuses to settle for less than she deserves. She will not bend to expectations that feel like chains, and she will not compromise her dreams to fit someone else's idea of who she should be. She understands that love is not about possession or dependency, and that being in a relationship should never be the measure of her significance. She has watched friends, family, and even strangers around her measure women by the number of rings on their fingers or the social approval they have garnered, and she has quietly decided that she will not be measured by such superficial standards. Her worth is rooted in the courage to pursue her passions, in the integrity with which she lives her life, in the kindness and strength she extends to herself and to others, and in the authenticity she refuses to compromise. Every morning when she wakes up, she reminds herself that she is capable, she is valuable, and she is deserving of respect, not because someone else has told her so, but because she has recognized it in herself. She knows her worth because she has endured and emerged stronger. Life has not always been gentle with her. There have been moments when she has questioned herself, when she has felt small in the face of criticism, when the world has made her doubt her abilities. Yet each time she has chosen to rise. She has chosen to stand tall, even when her heart was heavy, to speak her truth, even when it was uncomfortable, and to protect her energy, even when others tried to take it away. She has learned that self-respect is not a luxury, it is a necessity. That knowing your worth is not arrogance, it is clarity. That valuing yourself is not selfishness, it is wisdom. And in that wisdom, she has built an inner fortress that no external voice can penetrate. She knows her worth because she sets boundaries without apology. She has learned the art of saying no when something does not align with her values, no when someone attempts to diminish her spirit, and no when circumstances threaten her peace of mind. She does not seek to please everyone, and she does not bend to demands that compromise her integrity. She has realized that people will sometimes feel offended, hurt, or confused by her confidence. But that is their journey, not hers. Her worth is not contingent upon their comfort. By protecting her time, energy, and emotions, she ensures that she surrounds herself only with relationships, environments, and experiences that uplift her, challenge her positively, and help her grow. She knows that valuing herself does not mean isolating herself. It means choosing wisely, deliberately, and unapologetically. She knows her worth because she embraces her individuality. She does not compare her life, her achievements, or her timeline to anyone else's. She understands that her path is unique, that her journey cannot be mirrored by anyone else, and that her dreams do not need validation from society's norms. She celebrates her accomplishments, whether they are recognized publicly or quietly cherished in her heart. She finds pride in her growth, joy in her self-discovery, and strength in her independence. Her worth is not a reflection of what she has. It is a reflection of who she is, a woman who has chosen herself, trusted herself, and fought for herself in a world that often undermines female power. She knows her worth because she invests in herself relentlessly. She pursues knowledge, skills, experiences, and relationships that enrich her life. She takes care of her mind, body, and spirit, recognizing that self-love is the foundation for every meaningful connection and every achievement. She does not wait for external recognition to feel significant. She creates significance from within. She acknowledges her accomplishments without guilt, celebrates her progress without humility that diminishes her glow, and honors her failures as necessary steps in her journey toward greatness. She knows her worth because she understands love differently. She does not seek a husband to complete her. She seeks a partner to complement her. She does not depend on someone else to fill her emotional, financial, or spiritual needs because she is already complete. She has learned that the right kind of love does not diminish her independence, it enhances it. She knows that her self-value sets the standard for how others treat her. She refuses to tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or neglect because she has measured her worth and will not allow anyone to devalue it. She knows her worth because she embodies confidence, not arrogance. There is a quiet power in her stride, a gentle authority in her voice, and a magnetic pull in her presence. People are drawn to her not because she seeks attention, but because she radiates self-assurance that cannot be faked. She does not need constant reassurance because she has internalized her value. She does not chase validation because she has built her own empire of self-belief. And when she walks into a room, she carries the unmistakable aura of a woman who knows herself, trusts herself, and honors herself. She knows her worth. And that knowledge transforms every aspect of her life. It shapes her decisions, colors her relationships, informs her ambitions, and anchors her in moments of doubt. She knows that life will test her, that people will challenge her, that circumstances will tempt her to second-guess herself, but her awareness of her worth is a shield, a compass, and a lighthouse all at once. It is the quiet, unwavering conviction that no matter what happens, she is enough. She is powerful, and she is deserving of all the good that life has to offer. She builds her own happiness, and when I say that, I don't just mean she tries to smile or looks for temporary joys. I mean she consciously creates a life that feels full, vibrant, and meaningful, regardless of who is around her or what society expects. She understands that waiting for someone else to bring joy, excitement, or fulfillment is a trap, a recipe for disappointment, and a surrender of her power. Life will always throw challenges, disappointments, and heartbreaks her way, but she has learned to become the architect of her own joy. She wakes up each day knowing that happiness is not a destination or something that can be handed to her. It is a practice, a choice, and an attitude she cultivates with care and intention. She surrounds herself with things, people, and experiences that feed her soul, and she refuses to linger in situations, relationships, or thoughts that diminish her light. She understands that happiness is not about having the perfect life or being flawless, but about embracing life fully, embracing herself fully, and finding gratitude in both the ordinary and extraordinary moments. She builds her own happiness because she knows it is her responsibility and no one else's. She has seen too many women depend on their partners, family members, or friends for validation, joy, and purpose, only to feel empty when that support is inconsistent or absent. She refuses to make her sense of worth or her emotional well-being dependent on anyone else. She has realized that she cannot control what others do say or feel, but she can control how she responds, how she nurtures her own heart, and how she creates an inner sanctuary of contentment. Every morning, she chooses to start her day with gratitude, noticing the beauty of life in small gestures, in sunlight streaming through the window, in the aroma of coffee, in her own heartbeat, reminding her that she is alive, capable, and ready for whatever the day brings. She celebrates herself for showing up, for surviving, and for daring to dream. And in those celebrations, she finds an energy that fuels her joy. She builds her own happiness because she invests in experiences that uplift her. She knows that a fulfilling life is not measured by others' standards. It's measured by what makes her heart beat faster, what makes her feel alive, and what fills her with inspiration. She travels when she can, not just to see new places, but to explore herself in unfamiliar environments, to expand her perspective, and to learn that life is far bigger and more beautiful than the boxes she was taught to fit into. She takes courses, reads books, attends events, and meets people who challenge her, motivate her, and make her think in new ways. She understands that happiness is often found not in material possessions, but in personal growth, in learning something new, and in breaking boundaries she once thought were impossible. Every decision she makes, whether it is choosing a creative project, joining a new community, or taking a bold risk, is guided by what she knows will enrich her spirit. Because she has learned that a life lived on autopilot, waiting for external validation, is a life half-lived. She builds her own happiness because she nurtures meaningful relationships that enhance her life rather than drain it. She surrounds herself with people who celebrate her victories without envy, who support her ambitions without judgment, and who love her for her essence, not just her presence. She understands that friendships are not about convenience or societal approval, but about genuine connection, mutual respect, and shared joy. She invests her energy wisely, knowing that every moment spent with negativity, toxicity, or drama is a moment stolen from her happiness. She has learned to let go of people who take without giving, who criticize without care, and who diminish her spirit. And in that letting go, she finds liberation and space to invite more joy, laughter, and love into her life. She builds her own happiness because she embraces self-care as a non-negotiable. She understands that to pour into life, she must first pour into herself. She treats her body with respect through movement, nutrition, and rest. She treats her mind with care by feeding it positive thoughts, meditation, and reflection. She treats her soul with love by pursuing passions, engaging in creativity, and honoring her values. Self-care for her is not indulgence. It is a declaration that she matters, that her happiness is sacred, and that she will not compromise it for anyone's comfort. She celebrates her achievements, however small, and allows herself moments of pleasure without guilt, understanding that happiness is as much in the little moments as it is in the grand milestones. She builds her own happiness because she knows the power of mindset. She recognizes that life is a mixture of ups and downs, and that while she cannot always control circumstances, she can control perspective. She chooses optimism without naivety, hope without denial, and resilience without bitterness. She turns failures into lessons, heartbreaks into growth, and challenges into opportunities for strength. She laughs at setbacks. She dances through storms, and she refuses to let external chaos dictate her inner peace. Her happiness is rooted in self-mastery, in knowing that the greatest source of joy comes not from the world, but from her own capacity to love, accept, and celebrate herself. She builds her own happiness because she follows her passions unapologetically. Whether it's a career ambition, a creative pursuit, or an unconventional path, she dedicates herself to what sets her soul on fire. She refuses to shrink her dreams for fear of judgment, and she refuses to dim her light to make others comfortable. She knows that happiness blooms when she is fully engaged in work, activities, and relationships that resonate with her essence. She pursues these with courage, persistence, and an unwavering belief that her joy is worth every effort. She builds her own happiness because she knows that joy is not a destination, but a journey she crafts each day. She fills her life with laughter, with experiences that challenge her, with moments of quiet reflection, and with an unwavering love for herself. She does not wait for someone to arrive, for life to be perfect, or for the universe to give her permission. She claims her happiness boldly, deliberately, and unapologetically, and in doing so, she creates a life so full, so radiant, and so undeniably hers that no one can ever take it away. She has unmatched independence. And when I say that, I mean she stands tall in a world that often tries to define her by the presence of someone else in her life. She does not rely on anyone to make decisions for her, to validate her choices, or to determine her path. Her independence is not just a trait, it is a way of life, a declaration that she is capable of managing her life, her dreams, and her happiness without leaning on anyone else. From the smallest daily choices to the largest life decisions, she trusts herself. She wakes up every day knowing that her life is hers to create, hers to shape, and hers to navigate, and that no external force has the authority to dictate her journey. While others might fear solitude or interpret independence as loneliness, she has discovered the freedom, clarity, and empowerment that come from relying on oneself. She has learned to embrace life on her own terms, knowing that real strength comes from being responsible for one's own destiny and from walking the path that resonates with her heart, mind, and soul. She has unmatched independence because she has developed the courage to stand alone. She has faced situations that would have made many falter, and she has emerged stronger each time. She knows that being independent does not mean rejecting help when necessary, but it does mean not depending on anyone to give her the life she wants. She has cultivated the ability to make decisions with confidence, to pursue opportunities without fear of judgment, and to embrace challenges without hesitation. When faced with obstacles, she does not wait for a partner, a family member, or a friend to rescue her. She acts, she adapts, and she perseveres. She has built the emotional and mental strength to handle life's uncertainties, knowing that her resilience is her greatest asset. Her independence is not born from necessity alone, but from a conscious choice to live freely, authentically, and courageously. She has unmatched independence because she has mastered the art of self-reliance. She manages her finances, her time, and her responsibilities with skill and confidence. She understands the importance of financial literacy, and she has taken steps to ensure that she can support herself, pursue her passions, and live comfortably without depending on someone else. Her independence is reflected in her ability to make plans, achieve goals, and create security for herself. She does not wait for permission to chase her dreams, nor does she feel the need to justify her ambitions. She sets her own standards, defines her own success, and refuses to measure her life by anyone else's yardstick. Every achievement, every milestone, every step forward is a testament to her autonomy and her refusal to compromise her freedom. She has unmatched independence because she values her personal space and her time. She understands that living independently allows her to explore her interests, cultivate her talents, and grow without external constraints. She invests in experiences that enhance her knowledge, creativity, and self-awareness, knowing that her personal growth is the foundation of a fulfilling life. She does not feel pressured to conform to societal timelines, to marry by a certain age, or to follow a path that feels comfortable to others. She knows that her independence gives her the power to make choices that are aligned with her values, her goals, and her happiness. In moments of decision-making, she relies on her intuition, her experience, and her inner voice rather than seeking constant approval. She has unmatched independence because she has learned to trust herself fully. She acknowledges her mistakes, learns from them, and uses those lessons to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. She does not fear failure because she knows that even in setbacks, she possesses the skills, the courage, and the resilience to rise again. Her independence allows her to experiment, to take risks, and to explore new territories without fear of judgment or dependency. She has discovered that relying on herself is liberating, empowering, and transformative, and that the confidence born from self-trust is unmatched by any external validation. She has unmatched independence because she makes choices without guilt or apology. She understands that living life on her own terms may not always align with others' expectations, and she has learned to embrace that difference without compromise. She refuses to be controlled, manipulated, or swayed by societal pressures or the opinions of those who do not understand her journey. She does not apologize for her autonomy, nor does she feel the need to justify her lifestyle, her ambitions, or her freedom. Her independence is her statement to the world that she is in command of her life, that she is accountable to herself, and that she will not relinquish her freedom for anyone. She has unmatched independence because she has cultivated a sense of purpose that is entirely her own. She does not rely on relationships to define her identity or to give meaning to her existence. She pursues goals that excite her, engages in work that fulfills her, and contributes to her community in ways that reflect her values and passions. Her life is a reflection of her choices, and those choices are made with deliberation, courage, and self-awareness. She knows that true happiness, fulfillment, and strength come from creating a life that is authentically hers, and that independence is the vessel through which she channels her creativity, power, and influence. She has unmatched independence because she inspires those around her. People notice the quiet confidence in her demeanor, the clarity in her decisions, and the strength in her convictions. She does not boast or flaunt her independence, but it is evident in the way she handles life, gracefully, decisively, and fearlessly. Others are drawn to her not because she seeks attention, but because she embodies a kind of strength that is rare, magnetic, and aspirational. She becomes a model of what it means to live without compromise, to trust oneself fully, and to embrace freedom without fear. She has unmatched independence because she has claimed her life completely. She knows that no one else is responsible for her dreams, her happiness, or her achievements. She navigates life with self-assurance, embraces opportunities with courage, and faces challenges with resilience. Her independence allows her to create, to explore, and to grow in ways that are uniquely her own. And in doing so, she becomes a woman who is unshakable, unstoppable, and undeniably powerful. She knows what she wants. And when I say that, I don't just mean she has vague ideas or fleeting desires. I mean she has clarity, focus, and unwavering determination about the life she wants to live, the goals she wants to achieve, and the experiences she wants to embrace. She has spent years observing the world, understanding herself, and distinguishing between what truly matters and what is merely noise. While many women may drift through life, swayed by others' expectations or societal pressures, she moves with purpose. Every decision she makes, every step she takes, every opportunity she pursues is guided by a deep understanding of her own priorities, values, and dreams. She does not get distracted by the opinions of others, and she does not allow temporary temptations or fleeting emotions to derail her path. She has learned that clarity of purpose is one of the most powerful forms of strength a woman can possess, because when you know what you want, the world bends to accommodate your focus, your courage, and your persistence. She knows what she wants because she has spent time reflecting on herself, her experiences, and her goals. She has questioned the traditional definitions of success, love, and fulfillment, and she has decided which standards align with her life and which do not. She understands that knowing what she wants is not about rigidly clinging to a fixed idea, but about understanding her essence, her passions, and her long-term vision. She distinguishes between what brings momentary satisfaction and what brings lasting fulfillment. She recognizes the difference between societal approval and personal alignment, and she has chosen to follow the latter. Her desires are not dictated by trends, gossip, or superficial expectations. They are cultivated through reflection, self-awareness, and the courage to listen to her own voice above all others. She knows what she wants because she has learned the value of saying no. She knows that clarity is meaningless without boundaries. She refuses to entertain distractions, unnecessary drama, or relationships that do not serve her purpose or respect her vision. She understands that every yes she gives is an investment of her time, energy, and emotions, and therefore every commitment must align with her goals and values. She has developed the confidence to reject offers, relationships, or opportunities that are convenient but not meaningful. By doing so, she safeguards her focus, protects her energy, and ensures that she dedicates herself only to things that matter. She knows that true empowerment lies in the ability to prioritize wisely, and she exercises this power every day. She knows what she wants because she has learned from experience. She has faced disappointment, rejection, and setbacks, and she has used these moments to refine her understanding of what is important. She has learned to differentiate between fleeting attraction and true connection, between momentary gain and long-term value, between superficial recognition and genuine achievement. She has observed people, situations, and trends, and she has extracted lessons that sharpen her vision. Every mistake has been a teacher, every failure a guide, and every triumph a confirmation. She has reached a point where indecision has no power over her because she trusts the wisdom that comes from lived experience. She knows what she wants because she refuses to settle for mediocrity. She has seen too many women compromise their dreams, their desires, and their standards out of fear, convenience, or societal pressure. And she has chosen a different path. She understands that knowing what she wants is inseparable from knowing her worth. She will not accept less than she deserves. She will not dilute her ambitions, and she will not sacrifice her happiness to satisfy someone else's expectations. She pursues her goals relentlessly, and she does so without apology. Whether it is a career she is passionate about, a personal milestone she is striving for, or a relationship that uplifts her, she knows exactly what she wants, and she pursues it with determination, patience, and grace. She knows what she wants. Because she listens to her intuition, she has cultivated a deep inner awareness that allows her to distinguish between what is right for her and what merely seems appealing on the surface. She trusts her instincts when making decisions, recognizing that her inner voice is often more reliable than external advice. She has learned to sit with her thoughts, weigh her options, and follow the path that resonates with her heart. This intuition, combined with her clarity and experience, ensures that she rarely gets lost or misled. She knows that life will always present choices, but when she knows what she wants, choosing becomes a confident, deliberate act rather than a confusing struggle. She knows what she wants because she embraces accountability. She does not blame others for missed opportunities, failed relationships, or unmet goals. She takes full responsibility for her choices and their outcomes. She understands that independence and clarity of purpose come with accountability, that in order to get what she wants, she must act, persist, and remain disciplined. She evaluates her progress regularly, celebrates her wins, and recalibrates her approach when necessary. This sense of responsibility strengthens her resolve and sharpens her focus, allowing her to move toward her goals with confidence and consistency. She knows what she wants because she dreams boldly and refuses to compromise her vision. She sets high standards for herself and others, knowing that her dreams are sacred and deserve respect. She does not fear ambition, nor does she apologize for desiring a fulfilling, joyful, and extraordinary life. Her clarity allows her to recognize distractions, avoid pitfalls, and embrace opportunities that align with her true aspirations. She approaches life with a combination of courage, discernment, and confidence that makes her unstoppable. She knows what she wants, and that knowledge transforms her entire life. It shapes her decisions, colors her relationships, informs her ambitions, and anchors her in moments of uncertainty. She navigates life with purpose, acts with intentionality, and attracts circumstances, opportunities, and people that align with her vision. She knows that clarity is power, that focus is freedom, and that determination, when fueled by self-awareness, creates a life that is not only successful, but also deeply fulfilling, joyful, and authentically hers. She inspires others. And when I say she inspires, I mean that her life, her choices, and her presence send a quiet, powerful message that resonates far beyond her immediate circle. She does not need to boast, to preach, or to seek attention to make an impact. Her inspiration comes from authenticity, from living a life that is unapologetically true to herself, from embracing her strengths and weaknesses with equal grace, and from demonstrating courage in the face of challenges. People notice her not just because of what she accomplishes, but because of how she navigates life with integrity, confidence, and a radiant sense of purpose. She becomes a role model, not by intention, but by example, showing other women and even men that it is possible to live boldly, independently, and joyfully without relying on anyone else to define your worth. Her life whispers the most compelling lessons. That strength is born from self-respect, that happiness is cultivated from within, and that a woman who knows herself is a force to be reckoned with. She inspires others because she faces adversity with courage. She has encountered obstacles, heartbreaks, and setbacks, yet she continues to rise again and again, demonstrating resilience that is contagious. People look at her and see someone who does not give up, someone who turns challenges into lessons, someone who refuses to let circumstances dictate her destiny. Her courage is magnetic, and it encourages others to confront their fears, to pursue their dreams, and to stand tall even when life seems overwhelming. She becomes proof that setbacks are not failures, that challenges are not stop signs, and that every difficulty faced with determination can be transformed into an opportunity for growth and empowerment. She inspires others because she celebrates her individuality. She does not conform to societal expectations or bend to fit a mold that is comfortable for others. Instead, she embraces her uniqueness, flaunts her quirks, and honors her values without compromise. This authenticity encourages others to do the same, to stop hiding their true selves for the sake of acceptance, to embrace their passions, and to pursue their dreams boldly. She shows that there is beauty in being different, that confidence grows from self-acceptance, and that a life lived authentically resonates far more powerfully than a life spent imitating someone else. People see her freedom and are motivated to reclaim their own, to stop seeking validation externally, and to recognize the power that comes from being unapologetically themselves. She inspires others because she lives with purpose. Every action she takes, every goal she pursues, and every decision she makes is aligned with her values and vision. She does not drift aimlessly or react passively to life. She acts deliberately, thoughtfully, and courageously. This clarity of purpose becomes a guiding light for others, illustrating the importance of living intentionally. She shows that when you know your priorities, respect your time, and dedicate yourself to meaningful pursuits, life becomes a journey filled with impact, growth, and fulfillment. People who witness her journey are reminded that they too can shape their lives with intention, that they too can rise above distractions, and that living deliberately is a source of inspiration, strength, and joy. She inspires others because she demonstrates self-love. She invests in her own happiness, health, and growth, and she does so unapologetically. She nurtures herself, sets boundaries, and refuses to tolerate negativity or disrespect. By prioritizing her own well-being, she sets a powerful example for others that self-care is not selfish, that valuing oneself is essential, and that true strength begins with honoring your own needs and desires. Her self-respect teaches those around her that happiness, fulfillment, and success are cultivated from within, and that waiting for permission or validation from others is unnecessary. People see her confidence, grace, and balance, and they are motivated to practice the same in their own lives. She inspires others because she pursues her passions relentlessly. Whether it is a career, a creative pursuit, or a personal goal, she commits herself fully and demonstrates that dedication, courage, and perseverance can turn dreams into reality. She does not fear failure, criticism, or judgment, and this fearless pursuit of her ambitions becomes contagious. Others witness her journey and realize that the obstacles they perceive are not insurmountable, that passion fueled by focus and discipline can lead to extraordinary results, and that taking bold action is the path to fulfillment and success. She becomes proof that it is possible to chase dreams without compromise and to create a life of purpose, joy, and empowerment. She inspires others because she lifts others as she rises. She celebrates others' victories without envy, supports them in times of struggle, and shares her wisdom without condescension. She understands that true empowerment is not about competition, but about collaboration, encouragement, and generosity of spirit. By helping others recognize their potential and by guiding them toward their own success, she becomes a source of inspiration that multiplies. Extending far beyond her immediate influence, people are drawn to her not just for her achievements, but for the way she empowers and uplifts those around her. She inspires others because she embodies resilience, authenticity, purpose, self-love, and passion simultaneously. She is a living example of what it means to be fearless, independent, and unapologetically yourself in a world that often pressures conformity. Her life demonstrates that success and happiness are not gifts to be given, but choices to be claimed, cultivated, and protected. She becomes a beacon of hope, a mirror of possibility, and a reminder to everyone who encounters her that the power to live fully, love fully, and succeed fully exists within themselves. Her story, her actions, and her energy encourage others to step into their own power, to rise above fear, and to create a life that reflects their truest essence. She inspires others because in witnessing her life, people see what is possible when a woman knows herself, trusts herself, and honors herself. They see that independence, happiness, and fulfillment are attainable, that setbacks can be transformed into lessons, that authenticity is magnetic, and that living boldly creates ripples of influence far beyond imagination. She becomes more than a person. She becomes a movement, a source of motivation, and a symbol of what it means to live courageously, intentionally, and without apology. So to every woman listening today, remember this: you do not need a husband to define your worth, to validate your dreams, or to light up your life. You are complete, powerful, and unstoppable just as you are. Life is not about waiting for someone else to give you permission to shine. It is about claiming your own light, stepping into your own power, and creating a story that is unapologetically yours. Embrace your independence. Chase your passions relentlessly. Trust your instincts and celebrate every victory, no matter how small. Be bold, be fearless, and above all, be unapologetically you. Because the world will try to tell you who you should be, but only you get to decide who you are. Stand tall, rise above, and let your life inspire, because a woman who knows her worth, builds her happiness, and lives on her own terms is a force that cannot be stopped, a light that cannot be dimmed, and a story that will echo through generations.